Hi, in this video I will talk about what's new for the third quarter of 2025 year. I will talk about two parts, finance or finance modules and supply chain modules. Before I start, I just need to highlight one point here, that I received a lot of messages that I follow your videos and I got this error. I follow your videos and the setup is not working fine, whatever. Please help me. I cannot help you until you show me what you already set up, what you implemented. As you know that maybe the same issues has a lot of reasons, not only one reasons. So in the time you sharing or you tell me that this I facing error or whatever, please share with me any details of the error, log file, screenshot of what you implement, is there any error message. For that I can help you, but you just say or write I am facing issues, it's not working fine with me. How I can help you? Because I don't know what you implement, what you did, what is the error message, and so on. So let's start. First feature here, that's lease reporting for periods. As you know that there are two reports for lease disclosure report, lease transaction and balance reports. These reports using to summarize lease reports, cash flows, future lease payment, weighted average, R of O, U of assets, and liability balances. Now you can run this report for either any period range, either in the current year or prior years. What is the business benefits? Simplify the compliance with lease disclosure reporting for year-end and ad hoc, and also improve audit and traceability of lease balances with related transactions. If in case of the audit team needs these reports for any prior years, now you have the option to run it for any prior year, extract it and share it with the audit team. Steps to enable: you don't need to do anything to enable this. For the access requirement also you don't need to do any rule or new privilege. As you see here that when you go to schedule process to submit process lease actions, you have actions, a lot of actions. One of them is lease disclosure reports. Here you can run any date range, either current year or prior years. The same here for other actions is lease transaction and balance reports. You have the options also to select any year. Second feature here still in finance module. In a bulk, you can mass activation, cancellation, amendment, leases contract. Activate lease contract amendment in a bulk after reviewing the draft details and schedules. Lease administrators also can now import a batch of a new amendment draft leases, validate leases details, and then activate leases in bulk. So this is the new feature. Also, lease administrator can perform other lease status updates, such as generate schedule, attach lease details, cancel draft lease, discard draft amendment, also in bulk. What is the business benefits? Automated lease amendment activation, cancellation in bulk. This will reduce manual effort, processing time. Also, it will help to reduce implementation time, increase return on investment as ROI, with functionality to automate activation of migrated leases. For steps to enable, there is one part for opt-in user interface to enable these features. Just refer to the optional uptake for new features sections for this part in what's new, third quarter of 2025. Access requirement: you don't need any rule or privilege to set up this feature. Also, as you see here, that there are only under leases, there are update expense lease status or update revenue lease status. These are new features which will allow you to make it in a bulk. If you have, for example, 100 leases, whatever, you can do it in one time now, instead of periods at one by one and take a time and the effort. As you see here, also for activation, that process lease, update lease status, you have to activate, cancel, discard, and attach lease details. What we mentioned before in bulk. And as you see here, from lease number to lease numbers, so you can include or mention a lot of lease at one time. Also, just navigate to the Oracle to know which version you have to check first. Once you log into Oracle, just go to your name about this application. You have to ensure that this is 25C, which is third quarter of 25. If you still under 22 like this 25P, this is still you are in second quarter, so you have to ensure that your version is updated to 25C, so these features will be applicable with you in your instance, either test or production. What is the business benefits? Reduce implementation time and this, and also data effort. I think it's duplicate. Okay. What is number 3 here? Miscellaneous cash receipts. In account receivables, there is miscellaneous. There are two types of cash receipts: standard receipts and miscellaneous. This miscellaneous receipts is not related to the customers. It's like between activity, either bank charge, fees, investment, fund, whatever, and the bank. Now you can create miscellaneous cash receipts with multiple distribution using SOAP service. This like APIs tools through technical like payload. It's like again API tools to upload these a lot of miscellaneous cash receipts with multiple distributions. Create miscellaneous cash receipts along with distributions through create miscellaneous receipt SOAP service. I think the technical team will know this. Use this service to specify set of account combination directly in the payload to allocate miscellaneous cash receipts to multiple accounts representing multiple fund type or department. Again, it's like API tools. Through these API tools or SOAP, technical team can now upload these multiple miscellaneous cash receipts with multiple distributions. Public sector companies use miscellaneous receipt to spread charges directly across different fund or department using multiple accounting distribution determined import from cashier or treasury feeder systems. These again miscellaneous receipts you can also import it from any cashier or treasury, any other third party as a treasury feeder systems. Commercial companies also use customer payment to directly account a charge or expense for O2C invoicing cycles. Enter distribution amount in the payload or dynamically calculate distribution amount using entering or entered percentage rates, because as you know, once the technical team using these features, he will ask you to give them some of data. One of these data is distribution amount in the payload. Either it will be dynamically calculated distribution amount through the percentage rates, or direct enter the distribution amount. Include descriptive flex field information also for distribution lines to reflect company internal attributes to reconcile related fund, department, or cost centers. As you know, the descriptive flex field is like more informations. You can use it for these distributions lines to reflect any data like company, department, cost centers. So once it's uploaded, you make a reconcile, you know that this distribution line for this cost center, for this department, for this company, and so on. Business benefits: reduce accounting process for receipts imported from feeder system using SOAP service. Shorten reconciliation audit process when integration with cashier and treasury, because as you know, any solution, if the integration is there, it will be shorten the time for implement, for reconciliation, for import data, for register data, and so on. Automate miscellaneous receipt creation with the distribution across different fund and department companies, and so on. Speed up liquidation positions when fund under budget cash control are equalized using daily miscellaneous receipts with dynamically calculated multiple distribution amount of these miscellaneous cash receipt creations. Improve efficiency by eliminating time-consuming activity to again manually update distribution account combination for the miscellaneous cash receipts. Automate processing of bank statement reconciliations with the miscellaneous cash receipts, including charge across multiple department or cost types. Steps to enable. You don't need to do anything to enable these features. What about the tips consolidation? Receipt currency code must be a valid currency. Accounting date must be within open or future. Check the period. It must not be enclosed or permanently closed or whatever. Receipt method must be valid for the business unit. All segment must both value as a security policies. Percentage across all distribution must equal 100%. For example, if you path a percentage, so the total of this percentage must be equal 100, not more than or less than. As you see here, also the miscellaneous cash distribution amount must equal receipt total amount, as like header amount and distributions as a lines amount. All distribution must have a valid account code combination, must be not null. Receivable activity must have GL account or value set defined. Distribution amount without percentage assigned. Percentage will be calculated accordingly based on entered amount and the receipt total amount. So again, as I told you, for these distributions, either you enter the percentage value or the amount of this receipt distribution value. Duplicate receipt numbers not allowed. A mixed percentage and amount in distribution are not supported. What does it mean? That if percentage are provided, then distribution amount will be calculated accordingly, depends on this percentage which are provided. When payload file doesn't contain tax details, receivable activity setup must include tax rate code, tax rate, and amount configured. As you know, for these miscellaneous receipts activities, when you defined it, there are a part of the tax applicable, not applicable, whatever. When this payload like SOAB service file is doesn't contain any tax details, so you have to pass these details through the receivable activities like tax rate code, tax rate, amount config. Valid cost center must be entered. Delimiter must be correctly passed in the payload. For example, this is charged to a dot, for example. Recommended maximum number of distribution per single receipt is 500, not more than these 500. Access requirements. No additional security access rules are required to run create miscellaneous receipt SOE service and enter miscellaneous receipts distribution manually. All of these things the technical team know very well about this point. You just need to share with the technical team like these points and make the data is ready, because once he going to upload this miscellaneous cash receipts through SOAB service, he will ask you about this data, percentage amount, code combinations, receipt activity, and so on. Another new feature here, like validate supplier bank account. As you know that account bank accurate bank account information is critical to successful procurement operations to make a payment invoices for the suppliers. Fraud bank accounts lead to payment fraud with monetary losses and increased cost to correct, track, template funds recovery. Even legitimate suppliers that incorrectly enter bank account information can cause expensive transaction errors. As you know, for procure to pay or direct invoice or whatever, once you make an invoice, you have to make a payment. This payment to the supplier bank account. If this bank account is wrong or whatever, so maybe there are fraud transactions or it's lose money or whatever. Now the Oracle Cloud allowed you to make a validate supplier bank account details before processing the payment. You can now validate supplier bank account, supplier registration with a third-party service to ensure that the bank account is valid and the owner again of this bank account matches the supplier. For example, I am supplier X and I shared with you my bank details Y. So through this third-party service, the system will ensure that these suppliers yes, he has this bank account Y. This to ensure that everything is correct before going to make the payment for the supplier. I think it's very good features here to make validate and also to restrict fraud transactions and so on. Validating supplier bank account supplier registration also will reduce risk for payment fraud, improve transaction efficiency, reduce approval cycle time, and lower operational costs associated with invalid or incorrect bank account informations. In this feature, supplier bank account validated through a seamless integration to GB like Morgan bank account validations after the supplier registration is submitted with the result presented in the registration approval notification. Bank account validation status includes verified, confirmed that the bank account is open, valid, supplier is the correct account owner, failed, confirms either bank account is invalid or closed for payment transactions, or the bank account is open, valid, but the supplier isn't the account owner. Inconclusive indicates bank account isn't found, cannot be validated, or the account owner cannot be validated. As you see here that this is supplier registration approval, this is for example the supplier, blah blah blah, and here you will find what bank account is verified, the bank account owner is verified. It means this message is that it's like make validate for the bank account details and matching between bank account details and with this supplier name, and everything is verified, because we said we have 3 status for validation: verified, one of them, failed, inconclusive. Steps to enable: you have to opt in to enable these features. Again, it will be for offering procurement. This feature available through a paid subscription with JP Morgan. It's required JP Morgan bank account for billing purpose, and the account must have been opened with JP Morgan branch in US. Enable the embedded bank accounting validation service in Financial Setup Manager. Just log service request with Oracle support to request promo code. Enable embedded banking promo code, and you have to use promo code document for referencing. Again, in manage embedded banking configurations, enable bank account validation service options, and opt in for this for procurement features, next generation user experience for supplier registration, because we said during the supplier registered his data, some of these data is bank account details. So through these bank account details, once you enable all of these, the system will give you the validation status, either validated, not, failed, and so on. Obtain also configure supplier registration approval notification using Oracle Analytic Publisher, and again validate supplier bank account. This is the setup required for this, but before of that you have to pay subscription with JP Morgan. Access requirement: user has job role that contains this privilege can view bank account with validation status on registration state request from the notifications, view supplier registration request privilege, view supplier registration bank account privilege. Users who are assigned to configure job rule that contains this duty rule can configure Redwood supplier registration approval notifications with Oracle Analytic Publishers BI author rules. Above privilege and duty rules were available prior to this update. It's already there, either your update 25BA, whatever. Another feature here is automatic posting upon approval of manual subledger entry. As you know that automatically transfer post manual subledger entries to the general ledger after workflow approval. This eliminates additional steps after the journal entry is approved, and they ensure account balances are immediately updated. So automatically the transfer and the post manual subledger entries to general ledger after only workflow approval is completed. Business benefits: that immediate transfer posting of approval entries to the ledger. No need to wait until it's approval. After approval you have to go to check, and after you check everything is okay, you again transfer and post to the GL. Smaller period close, improved synchronization between subledger and the ledger balances, because by the end of your accounting period you have to make a reconciliation or whatever. Steps to enable, you have to follow these steps, like setup maintenance, select offering as Fusion accounting app, just accounting transformation, manage standard lookup, search for Aura ER controlled config, define a lookup like this: lookup code, lookup type, access requirement. You don't need any privilege to use these features. Again, this automatically posting once the approval of manual subledger entry is approved. What is this? Optimize create account orchestration for multi-ledger. As you know that in some cases in your country organization, maybe you have a lot of ledgers. Accounting automations can optionally process accounting of transactions for multiple ledgers to a subledger application through a single process. So through single process, you can run create accounting for a lot of transactions for multiple ledgers at the same time. This minimizing the utilization of system resources. On enabling these features, create accounting process invoked by create accounting automations get submitted in the context of specific subledger application instead of being submitted in the context of subledger application and the ledger combination. This reduces number of process submitted, because in case of you have, for example, 50 ledgers, so you have to run it 50 times. Now you can run it one time, and this one time for multiple ledgers in one time instead of 50 times. Accounting entries are also transferred directly to the GL without running both the subledger journal entries and journal import process. This result is better management for system resources and improved efficiency. Steps to enable this feature can be also using the following setup steps: setup maintenance, manage standard lookup, Aura ERP control config again, and define a lookup with the following details: lookup code, enabled and meaningful, enable multi-ledger accounting from account automation, and save the changes. Here, like manage standard lookup, lookup type, enter the lookup type, description, meaning, and whatever, and define the lookup code, this enabled, and the meaning enable multiplier accounting from accounting automation. Tips, considerations: if this feature is enabled for any subledger application that transfer journal entries outside of Fusion general ledgers, for example to Oracle EBS GL or Oracle PeopleSoft or any other non-Oracle or non-Fusion product, corresponding journal sources will be automatically excluded from the scope because coexistent solutions are not supported with automation accounting. It must be only Fusion GL. Accounting entries transfer directly to GL without submitting posting process. This is the optimizing create accounting orchestration for multi-ledgers as automation accounting in one time instead of multiple time. Enhanced auto-post submission options for journal approval. Use submission options to auto-post process to submit only journals requiring approval. Only journal ready for posting or both journals requiring approval and ready for posting. When enabled these features, submission option parameters be applicable on the auto-post journal process and is defaulted to submit for approval and post. As you know, for the posting, the auto-post journal, this is like automating of both the GL journals, so it's applicable now to submit it for approval and post for this auto-post feature. Business benefits that authorize a greater level of control within the auto-posting process to ensure only user-specified journals are posted. Minimize error of posting unreviewed or incorrect journal entries, because as you know, once auto-post means the status of the GL journal will be auto-posted directly. So you can now submit it only with approvals. So you the reviewed will be the reviewer or approvals will be before posting. He can take the approvals with posting at the same time. Help enforce internal control approval policy by ensuring that unapproved journal aren't posted prematurely. Steps to enable. Again, there is one opt-in to enable these features. Offering financials. In offering financials, there is one opt-in user interface you have to enable. Access requirement, no new access requirement. Another feature, automated intercompany cross charge of payable invoices. As you know, that create intercompany transaction directly from payable invoice when the expenses are recorded and paid by one organization on behalf of another organization within the company. So this is automated now. If you have multiple organizations within the same company, so you can now create intercompany transactions from payables invoice, this payable invoice to this payable invoice. Now you can automatically create intercompany transaction for payable across charge type invoices, such as subscription charges paid by a parent company on behalf of subsidiary. Because if you have a parent company and under this parent you have a lot of subsidiary companies, so you can make intercompany between these relationship. Promotion campaign expenses paid by entity charged to multiple entities across countries. Invoice data is automatically transferred from payable to the intercompany document preparation. When user can assign beneficiary entity as well as initiate creation of intercompany transfer authorizations. After the transfer this authorization created, user can review, approve transaction authorizations using intercompany agreement guided process in multi-tier intercompany operations. This is the flow of automated identify invoices that need to be cross-charged using intercompany cross-charge checkbox on the invoice header. Once accounting, the invoice data becomes available to the intercompany document preparation for intercompany processing. As you see here, for the invoice header, there is one intercompany cross charge if this between a lot of, as I told you, between, for example, the parent company, subsidiary company, and so on. Intercompany cross-charge assigned beneficiary by linking intercompany agreement to the cross-charge lines in intercompany and generate intercompany transfer authorization. Continues a process to create this intercompany transaction in multi-tier intercompany operations. Cross-charge of payable invoice is only available with multi-tier intercompany operations. Is not available with the batch-based intercompany transactions. As you see here, this is the intercompany cross-charges in the invoice header. Again, improved operational efficiency by streamless transferring cross-charge of expenses to intercompany. Automated data transfer from payable to intercompany eliminate the need of custom automation and the manually entry of intercompany transactions. Recorded compliance risk by enhancing auditability, traceability of end-to-end processing of intercompany cross-charge expense. Reduced operational errors by automating intercompany accounting treatment of cross-charge expenses. Steps to enable, there is one also opt-in for the offering financials, and to enable these features, multi-tier intercompany operations which is delivered in 24C is enabled. Necessary steps if these multi-tier intercompany operations must be configured. Access requirement, the following privilege must be available: manage intercompany document preparations and review intercompany document preparations. This is allow preparation of source document for intercompany processing, and this allow access to view source document, associated intercompany agreement, and transfer authorization. Last thing here is that transfer assets to another book. As you know that these transfer assets from one book to another book under the same book, under the same ledgers. Now this is in 25B. Now in 25C, across ledgers. So across ledgers that you can transfer assets from book to another book. These features, again, you seamlessly transfer assets from one entity, location, employee to another or cross different assets book. Both as source and destination books must be a part of the same ledger. This is through Lease 25B. From Lease 25C onwards, the assets book can be a part of different ledgers. So this is the different here. In prior release, it must be the same ledger. Here in different ledger. Valuation depreciation rules as a specification of the destination assets are governed by transaction rules you specify. Application generation independently balancing accounting entries in the source book to close out asset balance, and a separate set of balance entries in the destination book to initiate the opening balances. As you know, it's like a retirement, so the system will close the asset balance of the source book and generate a new opening balance for the destination book, which is receiving these assets. Process automates recording intercompany entries for transfer involving different balance segment values, eliminating the need of manual journal ledger entries. As you know, because it's different ledgers, so it's like intercompany transactions, because different balancing segment values, whatever's, and maybe need eliminating or manual journal GL journal entries to make eliminating. Only net book value methods transfer type is allowed for transfer across ledger, because this assets transfer is treated as related party sale. Business benefits streamlines assets management by seamlessly transferring assets between book, either same ledger or different ledger. Generate intercompany entries automatically without any user manual transactions. Ensure continuity and accuracy by transferring descriptive depreciation details to newly transferred assets, eliminating the need of manual retirement addition transactions in separate books. Enhance efficiency, reduce errors, support a smoother audit trail. Steps to enables obtain also for these features of the financials. No longer option from updated 26A. Use obtain fixed assets transfer book in financial. It's like whatever you did it in 25B release, you have to do it here again. Just as you see here, there is one obtain here in user interface you have to enable, and for the assets you make ensure that allow transfer to another books for all of these books. Tips consolidations. Continue with the source assets live depreciation rules. Don't select inherit depreciation rules of destination category. In the source book there is no gain or loss where the assets is transferred at new book value. Periodic mass copy process doesn't copy the assets transfer between books. Transfer in the corporate books to the tax book must be entered individually in each of the tax book. If the source corporate book has more tax books than the destination book, you must manually retire the assets in the tax book that doesn't have a corresponding destination book. If the number of reported currency in books isn't the same in the source and destination book, use the net book value method transfer type. Use conversion rate to convert transfer amount rate, non-recoverable tax, miscellaneous amounts in the source book to the destination book. Only full transfer of assets is allowed, partially transfer not allowed. You cannot transfer a group assets to another book. You can transfer member assets only. After they are removed from group assets and become standalone assets, you can then transfer the standalone assets in the source book to the destination book. Access requirement. Predefined assets accounted asset accounting manager job rule have access to these features. A new functional privilege called transfer fixed assets to another, and this privilege. For the second part of the supply chain, because there are a lot of Redwood features enabled, I will attach the Word document of this new what's new 25C of the supply chains in the description of these videos. Thanks for watching. Good luck.